Guys, it's a pleasure to be here. Lady Vicki and I want to thank you for the opportunity to come to speak about Shriners Hospital for Children. We usually start off with our meetings, we did a prayer, but we always have a pledge of allegiance to the flag of our country. If you join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To become a Shriner, some people know, some people don't know. First thing you got to do is become a Mason, a Freemason. And the Masonic Order is a fraternity of men whose purpose is taking what they call a good man and making him better. When I went through becoming a Mason, I caught slack from people that didn't know what Masonry is, hadn't even thought about being a Shriner at the time. And they said, you know, you really ought to look at this. It's a cult, it's a religious group, it's a bunch of devil worshipers. There's all kind of high people out there. And the more I investigated, the more I learned, it really is a lot of propaganda and misinformation from most of the people that don't know. All I do know that you can relate to is when I completed my 3rd degree and became a Master Mason, they gave me a book of instructions, and it came in the King James Version. I'll bring you some facts and figures. Then you can go on and become a Shriner. Back up to the Masons, their main charity is Oxford Orphanage for Children in North Carolina. There's about 40,000 Masons in North Carolina, and that's what their objective is. Then when you move up to become a Shriner, their objective is Shriners Hospitals for Children and the children they serve. We have 22 hospitals scattered all over North America, and I'll just bring you back up to, I'll start at the beginning and give you a little history. You're on my garb on up here, make sure you get your money's worth. And all this is symbolic, and you'll learn a little more about it today. Who are the Shriners and what do they stand for? I will be brief. The Shriners founded in 1872 as an appendage of the Masonic Order. Its principal founder, Dr. Walter Fleming of New York City, a Mason, wanted to establish a club of Masons who could enjoy fellowship and fun in a relaxed setting. It also followed the Masonic principles of brotherly love, charity, faith, and belief in the Supreme Being. In order to make it even more fun, he put forth the idea of an Arabic theme when a fellow member suggested after he attended a party given by an Arab embassy in France, where everyone was given a fez to wear and were dressed in ancient Arab attire with Arab names and titles, strictly just to make it fun. Had nothing to do with the Arabic order. We all know what all that has turned into in present day. This is in 1872. The Arabic theme was adopted to complete with each member wearing the fez to set it apart from other fraternal clubs of the day. As clubs were established, they were called temples, and the clubs each had an Arabic name. Ours is Oasis, as you can see on the fez. The idea spread quickly within the Masonic Order of North America, and in 1894, Oasis Shriners was founded in Charlotte, North Carolina, and established by an act then North Carolina State Legislature. One of the original founders of Oasis was Henry Belk, founder of Belk Department Stores, and one of the first Masons to make application to join was J.M. Belk, his brother. In 1906, the Shriners donated the sum of $25,000 to the victims of the Great San Francisco earthquake, which at the time was considered to be an astronomical sum of money. They later donated the unheard of sum of $10,000 to the victims of the wars in Europe. Thus, the world's greatest philanthropy was beginning to take shape. In 1920, it was decreed by the National Shrine Council that the Shriners Hospital for Crippled Children would be established as its #1 cause, and a $2 per member assessment was to support the creation of the hospital to treat crippled children, as polio was an epidemic back in the day. And they had no known cure at the time to prevent it from covering our country. The first hospital was established in 1922 in Shreveport, Louisiana. 5 short years later, Shriners Hospital for Crippled Children was established in Greenville, South Carolina, to help children who had crippling diseases and burns. You have to remember, at the time, there was no safety net like hospital systems we have today, nor the assistance to pay for these maladies. By 1997, a network of 22 nonprofit hospitals known as Shriners Hospitals for Children had been established to treat children for orthopedic, burn, spinal, and facial deformities care from throughout America and the world. All this is totally regardless of the patient's family's ability to pay. Today, Shriners Hospital is a 250,000 members strong. We support our 22 hospitals. We have almost $9 billion endowment that helps support these hospitals, and the tens of millions of dollars contributed by Shriners and others each year to enable care for children from newborn to age 18. And again, it is all regardless of the patient's family ability to pay. Oasis Shriners is the largest shrine organization in the world today among the approximately 200 temples. Oasis Shriners continue to be one of the largest contributors of money to our hospital system from all the shrine temples in the world. Last year, Oasis gave over $2 million to our hospitals for care of children. Remember, through the years, Shriners Hospital for Children has given well over 1 million children the opportunity to have a normal life, where otherwise they would have no such chance. Today, we help over 100,000 children each year, regardless of the family's ability to pay. Well, thank you for coming and listening for that. I'll give you some facts and figures. That being said, what does it mean to be a Shriner? I can tell you what some of the things it means being a Shriner. When you walk into a room at a banquet or a meeting, and there's people there that their kids have been treated, or their grandkids have been treated, and there's total strangers come up to you when you're wearing this fez. They come up to you and they give you a handshake, and then they grab you and they give you a hug. And I don't mean just a little hug, they give you a hug. And there's tears coming down their face, and they are so appreciative of what you did, what you guys do, supporting these hospitals to take care of our kids and our grandkids. First weekend of May is our annual paper sale. Shriners all over 50 western counties of North Carolina, which is Oasis jurisdiction. Most of them will be out there that week working the banks, Sam's Club, restaurants, whatever. Happened to be working at Sam's Club a couple of years ago. Dearly beloved brother of mine, David Root, who has since passed away, was standing there, and the family come out, and the little boy turned around, come back over there, gave David Root a $20 bill. Said, "Here, I want to put this for the Shriners." David Root, he was never at a loss for words, and he said, "Well, thank you, young man. We appreciate that so much." And he stood right there at him and looked up at him, and he said, "No, Mr. Shriner, I want to thank you for my feet." And he turned around and ran back to his parents. That's some of the things that makes being a Shriner worthwhile. I've had countless families come and confide to you. If it wasn't for Shriners in the hospital, we'd be in financial ruin. No way we could have taken care of my child will never walk. Not only do they walk, they run. They compete, they swim. It's amazing. We saw a young man at Imperial Session in July. He had hands transplanted hands, and they're functional. Not only does this young man can he write, but he can swim and play a violin, and he's good with transplanted hands. It totally blows my mind. I usually have a patient or a mother, father, grandfather come up and tell you what it's like to have a kid go to the hospitals. David can tell you. Our beloved Lindsay here. Every Sunday I look at her. It's just amazing. They know what it's like. But I can stand here before you here this morning and tell you what it's like. I took my granddaughter Harley in May to the Shriners Hospital in Greenville to the sports medicine. They have a new sports medicine program. Since February, she's played softball since she's been big enough to pick a bat up, and played like 11 months out of the year. And in February, she got to hurting her knees. She's a catcher. Oh, excuse me, Vicki, she's a hind catcher. That's a little inside joke, boy. She's a catcher, and when she squat, her legs were bothering her so bad. So she went to the doctor here, and they iced them, and they gave her stretches, and said to stay off of 6 weeks. Well, they did all that, didn't help. Went to another doctor here in Catawba County. Same thing, stretches, ice, sit in the bathtub, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. And by May, she hadn't got any better. And this is full swing softball season, I mean, they got traveling teams ringing her phone off the hook. Are you coming with us? You gonna come with us? You gonna play ball? She said, I can't play. I said, well, they got a new sports program at Greenville Hospital. I just for my satisfaction, I want to take you down there. So I gave her Angie the information. She called the number, got the pump set up. We took off and went down there, and I walked in that hospital just green as grass. I walked in. You go to the checkup desk. They got it down to a science. They got the forms you fill out. You got the place you go sit and wait for your appointment. Things for you to do, watch, look over. Take you back. Have a counsel with the doctor. He was so genuine, so interested in listening to her story, what she'd done, how she got here, and why she's here. So, well, what we could do, so we go upstairs, and we could go in this room, and it's got a long pad. They walk down 3 or 4 monitors on the wall with computers, and they walk her down that pad. And as she steps barefooted, it comes up on those computers. It tells every pound per square inch as she walks, how she's putting her weight, leaning forward, leaning back, doing sideways, and it's recording it. Then they got cameras on the wall. They got a guy running that camera down, watching every move she's making. Then they go back and they analyze all that, take all this and they analyze it. Bottom line is, they made her a pair of inserts for her shoes that day before we left. We got there at 10 o'clock in the morning. We was there at 4 o'clock that day. They did x-rays, and it was amazing at the time and the treatment that she got, the genuine concern that they showed her. When we walked through there, and all during the day, there were kids coming in, prosthetic legs, short arm, cleft palate. Their parents were coming in for their appointments. It's just a continued non-revolving door. And after it's all said and done, he said, Harley home. He said, you got to stay off his legs. You can't be running. No impact. He said, right now, there's no crack in your shin bone. He showed her advanced stages of what could happen. He said, here's what you don't want to see. And it was a thin black line all the way down that shin bone. He said, when it progresses to that point, there's no turning back. The only thing you can do is, he said, we take your kneecap and take it to the side of your leg and drive a steel rod to your ankle. And And he said, you think taking 6 months off from playing ball is tough? Try that. So he got her attention. And she hasn't played ball yet. And she goes back for an appointment to Greenville in September. And she's been doing the icing and the stretching and not doing the impact. So I don't know what the outcome's gonna be yet. But I do know that after that day, Angie came to me and said, Dad, if she never plays another game of ball again, Aunt Harley's gonna be fine. After seeing them other kids and stuff, man, that's great. Give you a few facts. There's approximately 230,000 Shriners in the world, approximately 200 temples worldwide. We have 3 in North Carolina. Sudan, down in New Bern, Amaran, down at Raleigh, and Oasis, the 50 western counties of North Carolina, of which consistently leads to hospital donation. Last year it was 1.2 million, the year before it was 2.4. You say, well, why that much difference? Well, we had a family that owned the Catawba Queen down in Lake Norman, passed away, and he left $1 million to Shriners Hospitals for Children. So that's why it's such a spread sometimes in the years of how much donations you get. There's 3 temples in South Carolina, Hejaz, in Greenville area, Jamil in Central Columbia, and in Omar down the coast. And they're like that all over the United States and all over Canada and all over, even in other countries. And all of these temples have a board of directors, which is the guys that it's called a divan, and that's the board of directors. They run and look out for the temple, keep up with the budget, make sure all the change stays on track, and that's, most of you know where I've been going for the last 6 years. It's a 7-year commitment when I got on this board, and right now I'm chief of band, and I'm happy today to introduce you to our potentate, which is the chief executive officer of Oasis. He wanted to come up and bring me moral support. But he's in his 7th year of his commitment, so it's quite a commitment, but it's a rewarding commitment. There've been some famous Shriners that you guys and Masons. First of all, the Masons. 14 of our past U.S. presidents have been Masons. Some of the famous Shriners, John Wayne, the Duke, and President Gerald Ford was a Shriner. Anybody recognize this guy from last night? David Reagan, Oasis Shriner. And even I know David Reagan. And this was from last Tuesday night at the Shrine 100 race in Gaston County, which has been going for 44 years now. And they turn all that money over to the hospitals. They have donated millions of dollars out of that one function to Shriners Hospitals. The advancement in treatment has come full circle. They're starting new programs called telehealth, to where you actually don't have to be physically in front of a doctor to have a checkup or follow up, outside of surgery or whatnot. And scoliosis is one thing that they treat a lot of kids of, curvature of the spine. And previously, that took 10 to 12 surgeries as a child would grow. They go in there and put rods in their back. And after so long, when they get so big, they had to go in and put more rods. Well, they have developed this thing called the magic rod. They go in there one time, they put these rods in, and these rods are adjustable. So that as the kid grows, all they have to do is move these rods, move the stops. So they've cut that 12 surgeries down to 2. Canadian government. The Canadian government has just recently pledged $24 million over a 5-year period to the Montreal Shriners Hospital for Children because of its important role in Canadian healthcare. Greenville is our closest orthopedic hospital to our area, and Cincinnati is our closest burn center. Oasis operates a fleet of 8 vans called Tripster vans. We have drivers that volunteer their time. We have a lady that works in the office that practically does nothing but answer the phone and line up appointments for these kids. They will go to their house, pick this child up, take it to their appointment, Greenville or Cincinnati, even as far as Philadelphia. If they have to go any further than that for some special, unique, they will fly. But these guys take their time, they drive them there, they bring them back. These kids have learned, these guys, most of them's older retired guys, and they call them Papa, and I mean, they call them by their name just like they would their grandfather, and they look forward to them. And if for some reason one of those guys can't go, when they go pick up that child, they want to know where Bill is. Why come Bill's not here? they wanted Bill. But it's a unique relationship the way they bring it up. In 2017, our tripsters from Oasis made 339 trips to the various hospitals. They, I did have the mileage down, but I done forgot what it was. But anyhow, the Greenville Hospital, on a yearly average, they have over 15,000 scheduled visits. This past 2017, they had 4,130 new patients come see them. They did 1,249 surgeries, and they did 2,300 outpatient visits. Their budget alone is $27 million a year. And even though Shriners Hospital has an outstanding endowment, you got to understand that to operate 22 hospitals, the cost right now is just shy of $1 billion a year. And if the market takes a turn like it did in 07, 08 again, we could be down to where we'd be struggling. So that, even though that's a lot of money, it don't take long to get rid of a lot of money. The board of directors at the Imperial level are always looking at ways to cut costs. With this new telemarketing or telehealth thing coming on where they don't have to physically be at the hospital, they're talking about maybe merging a few hospitals where they have hospitals real close together. They're talking about rebuilding, revamping, taking the bed hospital overnight stay thing out, because that's practically a thing of the past, and merging it into more doctors where you can just come in, get a quick visit and get out. So they're trying to streamline things as they go along. I will tell you one short story. I went to Greenville Hospital the first Monday in December. The Hendricks from down in Charlotte always do a huge car show. And the entry fee to this car show is a new toy. And they have so many people participate, and they do this more than one time. So by the end of the year, they've got a 24-foot enclosed trailer plumb full of toys. And the first Monday in December, we always congregate, make a little train, and go down to Greenville. They go in, they spread these toys out all over the room. They separate them by gender and age, whatever toys they are, and then the patients, I mean, they're lined up. They come through, get them a toy, get them a bicycle, whatever they are. Well, I was standing there, happened to be standing there at the 3 to 5 year old group. I was just there. Young man comes in, he's about 3 years old. He come in, he walk in, he look at them door. I mean, his eyes this big. He just, mouth wide open. He was just astonished. And his mother told him, said, son, over here, these toys right here, this is what you get to choose from. There was 4 or 5 bicycles, a whole rack of toys, video games. He went over and he looked at that. He come over and he looked up there at me and he said, can I have a bicycle? I said, yes, sir, young man. You can, not only can you have a bicycle, but you can have one of them other toys too. He started stamping and squealing, wet his pants, went over there and got that bicycle and that toy, and I'm telling you what, he'll remember. That's a Christmas he's gonna remember. The first time I ever spoke in front of a crowd, I'd just gotten on the dive in 2013, and I had one of my shrine clubs from up at the mountain said, Ken, we have a car show every year. I said, would you mind coming up, be with us, spend a day, speak, tell a little bit about the hospitals or, shrines? I said, sure, no problem. So I get up that morning, I go up to the car show, and they got a car show. They had 530 some cars registered for this car show. And they had between 800 and 1,000 people just milling out, and everybody in their chairs, lawn chairs, umbrellas. I mean, this thing spread out. They got speakers surrounding the whole thing. They got a stage up where they give all their trophies and stuff, and they do the drawings all during the day. And they got this thing kicked off, and I stand over at the stage, and they introduced me and asked me to walk up to the podium, and I walked up to the podium, and it kind of hard for me to get started speaking. And I looked at that crowd, and everybody was just quiet as a mouse. You could have heard a pin drop. And I walked up to that microphone, and I hear something going. There's a helicopter coming in. Where's this helicopter at? So I back up, I look, I don't hear it. So I step back up to the podium. I realized it in my heart and my chest. that's a microphone. So I had to pick the bike up and hold it and talk. But I gave them a little spiel about our hospitals, and they were mostly interested in Greenville Hospital and what they're fundraising for. They raised a little over $20,000 at that venue. And for the next 2 hours, as I walked through the crowd, looking at the cars, just enjoying the day, there were people handing me envelopes or a $20 bill or a $100 bill and said, make sure this goes to the hospital. Get this to the kid. So I said, absolutely. It's quite an organization. It's quite a feat that they undertake. It's amazing that they do what they do. Let's see here. They do have a couple of programs. By the way, if anybody knows of a family of a child in need that the Shriners Hospital could possibly help, I have some cards that we can hand out. It's got a phone number and an email address on there. Please take one. Take one and put it in your wallet, just in case you find someone or a family in need. There's teachers in here. We got teachers and people that intertwine with the public daily. Going back to David Reagan a while ago, as an Oasis Shriner, he has sponsored a program called Proudly, which is simply a credit card company that will process your credit cards. If you take a credit card in your company, please take one of these cards and just run it by them to see if they can save you some money on your rates. And if they can do nothing but match it, they're going to make a donation to the Shriners Hospital. And he has agreed the first year of this program, whatever monies gets raised, he's going to match it. And also, if you use your credit card at a regular establishment, like at a restaurant or somewhere where you deal with regularly, and you constantly give them your card, give them one of these cards. Say, hey, call this 800 number and see if they can save you some money, and by helping their hospitals. And Alan's got these cards. If you'll pass them out to anybody that wants them. I went to a breakfast down in Charlotte about a year and a half ago, sponsored by Coach Joe Gibbs. Breakfast started at 7 a.m. in Charlotte, so kind of like Johnny, I was up at wee hours of dawn to get down there that day. And it was pretty interesting. Coach Gibbs is a very religious man. and he explained a few things, but in this circle of life, you know, it's a game. You got to be a player, and you got to have. You need a coach. You need a head coach, and God is our head coach, and we are the players. It's a team sport because not only are you not going to take anything out of this world when you leave, but the only thing you're going to leave is the influence you've had on others. And the clock is ticking. In sports and in life, the clock is ticking. Follow your game plan. Use your book of instructions. And I will leave you with our Shriners Creed. Shriners believe in God and that He created man to serve His purpose, among which is service to others in His name. We believe that care for the less fortunate, especially children who suffer burns and crippling diseases, is our institutional calling. We are patriots, willing to serve our country with fidelity and courage. We cherish independence under law and freedom with responsibility. We honor family. We respect our parents, wives, and children. We should instill our children the tenets of this creed and the heritage from which it comes. As individuals, we pledge ourselves to integrity, virtue, nobility of character. Our intentions will be honorable, our relations will be trustworthy, and our spirits forgiving of each other. As brothers, we offer each fraternal affection and respect. Together, we will support each other and adhere to this creed so that we and our communities will be better because of our fraternity and its principles. As Shriners, we look beyond ourselves to serve the needs of others, especially children who cannot help themselves. We believe Shriners Hospital to be the world's greatest philanthropy, and we covenant with each other to support its temples of mercy with spirit, time, talent, and meaning. At this time, I have the distinct opportunity and pleasure to introduce to you our 123rd potentate of Oasis Shriners, Johnny Burgess and his lady Charlotte. He came up here to share this morning with us. Johnny, you have just anything you'd like to comment?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to come up here. It's been a pleasure for Charlotte and I to spend up some of our journey with Kenny and Vicky. We've gotten so much closer to them as we do them beforehand, but we spend so much time and we've had a ball of what we get to do. But Kenny talked about a lot of it. Now he gets it firsthand when he got to take Harley down to the hospital. But what it is a community of faith, as I see right here. And Kenny and Vicky are active in their church like Charlotte and I are. So don't get mad at us when we're not here every Sunday. Don't give us a visitor bag when we decide to visit the church one Sunday. But it's great for we're out there doing what we do, knowing we have a community of faith, our church praying for us as what we do on all our travels and all. Y'all don't know what that is, but on our side, we don't take that for granted. We thank y'all for what y'all do and other support you do throughout the year as we go into there. And we are very fortunate to serve Oasis and its members as what we do because we know what it's all about. And we appreciate it because we get to do what we get to do because of the community that supports and everything that we do. But we appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity for Charlotte and I to come and visit with y'all today. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here with y'all today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love, sir. I do have some potentate pens and their ladies' pens out. You distribute them every year. Our potentate they've developed their own pen. They have their logos on the cups for our meetings. Installation in January. As long as I make it through elections in December. Lady Vicky and I are slated to become potentate for Oasis Shrine, which I'm very honored and privileged.
I gotta say, I grew up coming to Catawba County. My dad buried over in Macon. That's his hometown. Mays Chapel Church, the home place right across the street. So I've grown up coming up here. We have a lot of relatives in this area. That's where Mom and Dad met, was in the old Balls Creek High School. I'm very fortunate to have my mother with me. She's 94 years old. Her last high school reunion she went to was the 79th high school reunion of her class. And there's still about 12 members. We'd go over there and meet at the, behind the Burke funeral home. What's that restaurant? Burke? Birchwood or, no?
Brookwood.
Huh?
Brookwood.
Brookwood.
They there yesterday.
She loves it. Well, that's
We
neat to
did
come
good,
into
we
there.
loved it.
Yeah, yeah. But that's, you know, so that's, I have a lot of history here in Catawba County. It's like a second home for us, but that's where, they have resting places right now for the families at, all of the neighbors. So, thank you all.
But again, thank you for the opportunity to come and share this with you. Are there any questions?
I have a question, but I forgot Doug Mays. Doug Mays,
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, this group would know Doug Mays. Doug Mays from Channel 3, wasn't it? Doug Mays was an avid Oasis Shrine, past potentate of Oasis.
Okay, 76.
Potentate in 76,
He's
yeah.
the one that started the paper sale that we've been doing all these years. He thought that was a great idea. He started the paper sale.
That man was absolutely amazing. Of all the people that he met and came in contact with, if he ever met you one time and had a conversation with you, 6 months, a year down the road, and you walked into a meeting totally 100 miles away from where you met him before, and you walked in there, he would call you by name. Man had a mind like a steel trap.
Exactly.
Absolutely amazing.
Up till his passing, that mind never left him.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
could
he had
think
that
about
distinct,
everything.
he had that distinct voice that, you know, I mean, he could walk in the room and speak, and everybody knew Doug Mays was in the house. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my mother being here today. Thank you, Mom. And Wednesday turned 83. So happy birthday, Mom.
Thank you.
Birthday.
And I had my 63rd class reunion at Brookwood last Saturday.
Mom loved coming up there. Like I said, she was Falls Creek High School, if I remember right. Falls Creek.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, Falls Creek.
Give them a homework assignment, Kenny. Let them look up, see how many people signed the Declaration of Independence in this place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of history. A lot of history in the state capital, our nation's capital. Cornerstones all the way out. Masonic emblems. Any questions? Yes.
And I've got different people that ask me, just like you and Johnny's position, what do y'all get out of it as far as money? The nonprofit. And you need to explain that to these people, make sure that they know that you do not get paid for this.
No, this is a strictly volunteer organization. Everything that I go and do, now there's a few functions that we go to that we'll get our hotel paid for, but we gotta be responsible to get there. This, well, Johnny didn't bring it in, but the Potentate's Fez I just ordered at the Imperial, that's almost $500. That comes out of my pocket. This one was $400, and I've had it for a few years, so it's been a good one. But,
People ask us a lot, what's it cost you to do this? How much money you got to spend? I said, I'm not in it to see how much I got to spend. I'm in it for the children and what we do, but the friendships that we have. I grew up with this stuff. My dad joined in the early 60s. I've been in it all my life. We enjoy it. We don't want to know. We don't need to know how much it costs. We don't need to know. We're not doing it for that reason. So
No,
I love spending the time with
I've been fortunate to be able to travel and go and have my own business so that I can take the time off when I need to take off. All that plays an important part. But as a general rule, there's no one, the only people at our temple that get paid is the lady that lines up the appointments and the guy that looks over our building as far as rentals and stuff. And he basically pays his own salary out of commissions. So what we spend at the temple is virtually nil. Nobody gets paid. Nobody draws a salary.
As far as probably nationwide, it's still pretty much close. 94.7 cents of every dollar you give the Shrine organization go to the children. Very little administrative costs on our side. We don't have exorbitant CEOs, nothing like that. So think about that when you give that dollar, how much of that money is really going to the cause. That's what it is. We're very fortunate to be able to say that.
What eats up that other 5 to 7% is postage and these TV ads. I'm sure y'all saw an increase in TV ads over the past year and a half. That's been a pilot program they've tried. It's paying back big dividends that they're not they're not afraid to put the money out there because it's coming back. Now, we do have fraternal fundraisers, and that's to operate our temple, keep the light bill, pay the insurance, keep the grass mowed. I mean, we got expenses just like this church does. That's the way that works. Thank you, Alan. Anything else?
You want me to do that video, Kenny?
Oh, yeah. Since David went to all the hard work getting that video lined up, I ordered it.
In 1922, the world was changing. The industrial age had taken root, and the American economic engine was firing on all cylinders. Skyscrapers began to fill cityscapes, and America's baseball team, the Yankees, was finally building their first stadium in the Bronx. The nation was on the rise, but so too was something else. A contagious and sometimes deadly disease that was paralyzing hundreds of thousands of children. Polio. And in 1922, it was an epidemic. That's when a group of dedicated men decided that something needed to be done to help children and families. Shriners made it their mission to establish a healthcare system that could help children affected by polio, and Shriners Hospitals for Children was born. Today, polio is under control, but all over the globe, the mission to help kids continues. We have grown into one of the largest pediatric specialty healthcare systems in the world, providing advanced care for children with orthopedic conditions, burns, spinal cord injuries, and cleft lip and palate. Every day, it is the children that inspire an entire healthcare system to be pioneers in research and medical modernization. In fact, innovations in treatment practices first discovered and performed at Shriners Hospitals for Children are now standard procedures around the world. World-class research and medical education continues to define us as a leader in modern pediatric care. Outreach efforts have expanded to 120 clinics in 18 countries, extending Shriners Hospitals care beyond the walls of our hospitals and into rural communities and places where specialty healthcare may be inaccessible. Physicians and nurses provide convenient, permanent, and portable access to specialty healthcare services to kids who may have otherwise gone untreated. Other teams are impacting children across the globe, kids who have almost no access to healthcare, let alone specialty healthcare. It is this limitless approach to providing care outside the hospital walls that gives Shriners Hospitals for Children the ability to respond in times of crisis. Recently, when tragedy struck children in Taiwan, Mexico City, and Guatemala, it was fast-acting Shriners who offered the assistance and the expertise in life-saving burn care from the doctors at Shriners Hospitals that helped these children in crisis. This rapid response has earned us a reputation as a global force for kids. Technology is also playing a role in the future of Shriners Hospitals for Children, and we are embracing it. A new network of telehealth centers are coming online. These centers allow doctors and nurses to speak to, examine, and treat patients in remote parts of the United States and overseas, expanding access to health care for those that need it most, allowing Shriners Hospitals to come directly to the patient to ease the burden of long-distance travel. Very soon, Shriners Hospitals for Children will be the largest pediatric telehealth network in the world. Over the years, we have developed professional affiliations and partnerships with other world-class medical universities, facilities, and global health organizations. You may not know that Shriners Hospitals for Children has treated children from virtually every country in the world. In 2017 alone, Shriners Hospitals treated children from 125 different countries, with over 12,000 outreach encounters. In North America, the Shriners Hospitals for Children healthcare system is known for pioneering pediatric burn care. We maintain the largest network of pediatric orthopedic surgeons and developed the first model for spinal cord injury rehabilitation designed for children. Our network of motion analysis centers and low-dose radiation X-ray equipment is the largest in the world. New outpatient services and other treatment improvements are being implemented every day, making our network an ever-evolving, compassionate place for world-class pediatric care. All of this is possible because of talented medical staff, hard-working administration, dedicated Shriners, and generous donors working together to help as many children as possible. Just as in 1922, when polio demanded a change to pediatric care, Shriners Hospitals for Children was there. And as the pediatric medical landscape is changing, Shriners Hospitals will meet the challenge. Because what mattered to us then still matters to us today, remaining an innovative, ever-evolving organization that compassionately helps as many children as possible, regardless of their family's ability to pay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But there are more children that need us.